Hey y'all, welcome to Pleiadian Point of View. I'm Peyton, and I'm a Pleiadian channel and starseed coach. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the energetic trends that we're moving through right now. Some of the things that I'm seeing in the collective energy and that I'm seeing in the awakened community to help you get a sense of what we may be moving into over the next couple of months. But before we jump in to looking at today's energy trends, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. So something that is going on as we look at the collective energies right now is we're seeing that there is a huge awakening in certain types of starseeds. Certain types of starseed or soul missions are getting activated. So for a lot of starseeds and lightworkers, we're going through a spiritual initiation right now, and we're being called to the next phase of our journey. And for a lot of us, you can feel this energy in the collective that we're being moved in a new direction. And that's one of the reasons so many people are feeling a little lost and confused right now. Like the old way of doing things doesn't resonate anymore, but we're not quite sure what we're moving into. This is what is happening, is we're being called to the next level of our soul mission. And so some of the things that I'm seeing a lot of in the starseed community and with the lightworkers and starseeds that I coach is that in particular, we're seeing an explosion in what we call transmuters. So transmuters are people who move huge volumes of energy through the physical body. And I've done lots of videos on transmuters, so I won't go back and repeat all of that. But transmuters are doing some of the heavy lifting in the spiritual community. They are running huge amounts of the negative collective energy through their physical bodies. And this used to be pretty rare. There was only a couple of transmuters that I had ever encountered in years of being an intuitive, but there is an absolute explosion happening right now. So one of the things that may identify to you if this is you is that transmuters in particular tend to really struggle in the physical body. So if you are someone who has always just had a fit with the body, that may be a sign that you are a transmuter. And I have several videos on transmuters to help you figure that out. I will link them at the top of the screen. But what we're noticing in transmuters right now is that they are being awakened in droves. I am seeing transmuters come out of the woodwork, and there used to be hardly any of us. So we are seeing a lot of people who are realizing that this is part of their soul mission. So transmuters are taking all of the negative energy of humanity and cleansing that through their physical body. It is like we are industrial energy cleaners for the planet. And as you can imagine, that is a huge job right now. And it can be very, very stressful on the physical body if you don't know how to do it properly. So this is something that we're seeing a huge explosion of right now, is people who are identifying with this as part of their soul mission. And transmuters are hugely important right now. They are balancing and breaking down all of the density of humanity. So if you are someone who resonates with being a transmuter, even just a little bit, it is really, really important to start to connect with what you're here to do, because transmuters are being called in several different directions right now. I am seeing a lot of transmuters who are being called to work in particular locations. So that may mean that they are processing energy for a particular country or for a particular part of the world. So many transmuters are just kind of waking up to the fact that this is part of their soul mission and finding that they're being called to different parts of the world or to go live in different locations. So that's something that we're seeing happening a lot with transmuters. Now, we're also seeing in a lot of people who identify as being grid workers or being anchors or resonators. And I have videos explaining all of these terms. If you need a little background, I will put those at the top of the screen. But grid workers are starseeds and light workers who are working on planetary energies. So if you are someone who feels very pulled to travel or to go to particular locations, or even have a very strong feeling that you need to move, like it's time for you to actually move where you're living, this may be a sign that your energy is needed at a particular location. So we're seeing lots and lots of relocating in starseeds right now. That starseeds are being pulled to particular geographic locations where their specific frequency is needed. So if you are someone who identifies with working on planetary energies, being an anchor, being a grid worker, you may find that you're going to be getting the call to relocate. That's something that I'm seeing a lot in the anchors and resonators that I work with. Now, something else that I'm seeing as kind of a trend in lightworkers and starseeds right now is that anyone who works with planetary energies, and this may be something you do consciously, that you know that you do it, or this may be something you don't realize you're doing. It's going to work either way. You're still doing it. Is that a number of people who work with planetary energies are going to start working with planetary portals. Now, according to the Pleiadians, a number of starseeds are going to start learning more about portals and how to work with both natural and artificial portals. That is something that has been coming up with people who work with planetary energies, that this is going to be the next phase of their soul mission. And something else that I'm seeing a big wave of in the spiritual community is what the Pleiadians refer to as familial transmuters. I am seeing so many transmuters now who are being called to transmute ancestral trauma. So these are people who are going to be working very closely right now, and as we move forward over the next couple of months in breaking down generational trauma, who are breaking down the trauma, the wounding of particular bloodlines, of particular family lines, of particular ethnic lines, of certain religious groups. So a number of transmuters are going to be working on breaking down this ancestral trauma that is so heavy on this planet. And one of the signs of people who are doing this particular type of work, and especially of this type of transmuting work, is that a lot of times these folks have had very, very challenging relationship histories, way beyond what we talk about as the challenges of the average light worker and starseed, which can be pretty significant. Folks who are here to do familial transmuting are really going to be digging into some of the deepest, darkest wounding on the planet. And this is something that I am seeing so many people stepping into right now. So this is something that is being activated. So if you are someone who has always had this sense that you're here to heal things for your family or for your bloodline or any sort of ancestral group, this is something that you may be getting a very strong call to step into now. It is a huge trend that I'm seeing in the transmuter community in particular, is what the P's have started referring to as familial transmuters or generational transmuters. And so that is going to be a huge new growth area for transmuters, is that they are going to be coming online to heal family issues, heal all these lifetimes and lifetimes that particular soul families have continued to incarnate into. These guys are here to be the curse breakers, to change how it is done. So this is a huge new booming area where I'm seeing a lot of energetic movement of a lot of people being called in this area. Now, another little trend I'm seeing, and this is particularly happening for people who work on planetary energies, so grid workers and anchors or transmuters, there is a huge trend right now in starseeds and light workers being called to isolate. And I've had a lot of questions from people saying that they just feel like relationships are ending, that they have to cut ties with people, that they're going into hermit mode. And so according to the P's, what is happening if you are someone who is feeling this pull to separate yourself from either the collective energy or even your friends and family, a number of lightworkers and starseeds are going to feel this pull toward isolation so that they can do their energetic work without being contaminated by the collective frequency. So if you are someone who is feeling very isolated right now, and I know this is causing some concern with people, I've had a lot of people kind of reach out and they're a little worried about it, but what the P's have said this may indicate, now everyone's different, so the same rules don't apply across the board, but something that may be going on is you may be getting called to isolate a bit so that you can do your spiritual work, whether that is grid work or transmuting, without being affected by the frequency of everyone around you, whether that is the collective at large or whether that is the people in your immediate life. So your friends, your family, whoever you spend time with, you may be getting pulled back by your higher self to remove yourself from interfering frequencies. And that's not saying that in an egoic sense in any way or to judge anyone, but when we're too much in other people's energy, it can be hard for us to do our energetic work. So for that reason, a lot of starseeds and light workers are feeling a call to isolate, to pull back from social media, from mainstream sources of information, from just running around and being out in the world the way they normally would, because they're being called to protect their frequency. And that's another reason you may be feeling that kind of feeling of isolation or feeling like you need isolation, is because you may be being called to protect your frequency. That is one of the most important things light workers and starseeds are doing right now as a service to the planet, is to hold their frequency. And sometimes when we're running around in the monkey pen, you can't protect your frequency. There's too many competing energies that keep you from holding your frequency. So the P's have said that a lot of people are going to start feeling a pull to isolate a bit more, especially from those very denser timelines. So those very dense 3D storylines that are going on, the narratives. And again, we're never saying this from the perspective of ego or the perspective of judgment. We're only talking energetics. So if you feel a sense of increasing isolation or the need to kind of pull back, then this may be part of what is going on, that you're being called to protect your frequency so that you can do your spiritual work without the interference of all the noise in the world. Now, along these same lines, another trend that I'm seeing in the energies right now that I know is causing a little bit of a freak out in a lot of people is the ending of relationships. So many people have told me that their relationships are ending. They're having to cut ties with longtime friends. There are certain family members they just cannot be around anymore. And this is part of where we are in the ascension process. This is what the P's have been telling us for years now, that the timelines are separating, and that is accelerating. And what that means is we can't carry people. Those days are over. Everyone is responsible for themselves. And so one of the things that happens, unfortunately, as the timelines separate, is anyone that's not a match is going to be separated from you. And this is causing, I know, a lot of concern. It's not an easy thing for us to go through. And one of the ways, unfortunately, this manifested for me was people dying in my life and having serious medical emergencies. And so this is not a gentle process, unfortunately, but we just want to send love to everyone and know that everyone is the creator of their experience. But this is something, unfortunately, that is a huge trend in the energies right now, is that anything that's not a match to your path is going to be separated. And the separation may be gradual and gentle. For me, the process has not been gentle, but we are going to be seeing that any people who are not a match to us are going to be separated from us. Because the train has left the station, y'all. The P's have been telling us this for years, that anything that is not a match is going to be separated from us. So this is something that is a huge trend right now. And I know it's causing so many people pain and suffering and distress. And I am right there with you. It has not been a walk in the park, but this is part of our ascension process. So we want to stay in love. We want to stay in compassion. And we just want to stay in our heart and let our higher self bring us along, pull us along. So preparing to see the cutting of ties is something that is a very strong collective energy right now. We're seeing this play out in a lot of different ways. And the other thing that I'm kind of noticing as a trend as I look out over the collective energy is that we are stepping away as light workers and starseeds from trying to wake people up. And this has been something that has been a huge thing in the spiritual community for years now, where so many people have felt very inspired, very motivated, or even like they had to do it, had to be out, had to be trying to spread information, trying to wake up the world. And we are past that point now. As the P's have liked to say, that decision has been made by each and every soul. So it's no longer so relevant for us to be trying to wake people up. Every soul has made his or her choice as to what their future holds, whether they are going to be on an ascending timeline or whether they're going to be on a descending timeline. And as we always say, neither path is better. We are not coming from judgment or ego when we talk about this. So what we're going to notice as light workers and starseeds is many of us are going to feel an abrupt pulling back from this function of spreading information, trying to wake other people up. It's just not relevant so much anymore. We have passed that point. So the information is out there. The purpose has been served. The information is out there for anyone who wants to take advantage of it. And we are moving on to the next level. The phase of trying to wake people up is over. So that's one of the reasons we're being pulled in a different direction, so many of us, for our soul mission, to do more work on ourselves, to do more work on the group we came in to serve, in the example of people who are here to work on family lines and ancestral lines, and why so many people who work on planetary energies are being pulled to particular locations. We're moving to the next phase. So that's one of the things that the P's wanted to share with us. We don't have to worry so much about trying to wake anyone up. Not really a thing anymore. We don't really have to worry about that anymore. So these are some of the things that are popping up as I look at the collective energies and ask the P's what they're seeing in our collective energy. But I just like to share some of the trends in case you are one of the many who is starting to notice some of these things in your own experience. So let me know in the comments below, what trends are you seeing in the energies? And while you're down there, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.